So like, what is the balance between confidence in your own execution, what you're comfortable with, versus changing it up?
Like, even though you played better than your like expectation, but still hard, something is going wrong. You didn't play well, but game is easy. Our draft is good.
Welcome back to another edition of Pros. Why are you laughing at the opening? Did I make a weird face?
No, it's the stickers on your PC. Some of them are questionable to say the
Oh,
least.
are they? Is it the butt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
That's
it
the
don't
one
be a
that got me.
butthead?
That's the one that got me.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry for ruining the opening.
It says, why be a butthead when you can have empathy?
Nice.
Which I
nice
think
sticker.
is, I don't know, a great way to start off the episode. We're off to a great start. We were talking about before off camera, leading in, how surprised we were at. Maybe you guys aren't surprised at the result, right? Because you go in expecting to win. However, what surprised you about C9 specifically in today's series?
I guess I was just surprised that they played really slow. Very slow, very predictable. I feel like C9 was always a team, especially the players they have, that were like willing to go crazy. Like if I think of Blabber, Vulcan, I don't know. It seems like they had a leash on them. Same as JoJo, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they were all like on a leash. I don't know if that's the coach's leash or like they just have like, that's like pressure. But I felt like mistakes were illegal on their team. And I think that when you're playing on a team where mistakes are illegal, it's really hard to play a good game of League. And I think that's what they suffered from today.
You agree with that assessment?
Yeah, it's kind of similar.
Okay.
But also, I think in general, like mechanically, they were also lacking, especially compared to like how they usually play, because they have pretty good players who know how to like use their fingers, and I think today they didn't. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for today's game, I think like kind of top 3 team can win or lose, depends on draft and then depends on day by day. So I wasn't like that surprised that Flyquest won a series, but I was surprised that like they interviewed like, we are better at slow game. No, we are better at slow game. Inspired and JoJo were talking about that, and then I was thinking like, both of you guys are not doing good at slow game. And then it was a slow game, and then Flyquest was actually better.
When I do want to talk about draft a bit, just only because C9 were so stubborn.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Core back here, we went through all of the drafts, and like, how surprised were you? Because I'll get to these guys and facing it, but how surprised were you that they very stubbornly stuck to this kind of like Lilia, Corki, Cassante rotation, especially in game 4?
So thinking about that draft pattern again, I think they think the problem was enemy champions, not that their comp and then interaction with the enemy champion. So they try to change the ban, so they try to change the enemy team's champion, but Flyquest always find the different champion can do similar job. So since Flyquest C9 didn't change the way they work, the way their comp works, so I think it was kind of, for us, it looks kind of same game, same full game.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
When that draft came in, what did you guys think?
I mean, like Cor said, their first 3 bans were Ezreal, Senna, and what was the third?
Nasus.
Nasus, right. And then they kept like changing one ban, then it became like Smolder, and then they did the same comp, and then it became Ivern, and then they did same comp. So they were like confident in themselves to play the comp, but they just thought maybe they need to like ban out certain champs. So I wasn't very surprised that they ran it back, just because like if they feel like they could have won and they should have and they just misplayed, they're probably going to do it again. And they have the kind of players, I think at least, that might do that.
I don't know. I felt like it was pretty silly. I feel like whenever you're playing an active series, you have to just respect like how much actual value a champion is giving in the actual series. And if you're going to lock in the same champion over and over again, that's because you're getting more value than what normally is expected from your pick. So if you're going to slam Lilia like 4 games or 3 games in a row, you need to be expecting something more from your Lilia, right? I feel like that's because it did something that you didn't expect. I think in Lilia's case, it was definitely like they didn't want to give us Lilia no matter what. Like that was not allowed. You know, they were even willing to play a Mumu into, like, I don't even remember, what did we play? Like,
Ivern.
yeah, they're willing to play Ivern and Mumu just to make sure we don't play Lilia. Like, they're pretty committed to making sure that didn't happen. But especially for Corki and Cassante, I felt like both champions didn't do too much in the series. And I feel like after 2 games, if not 3 games, I believe he played all 3 games. He played Cassante, right? All 4 games?
All 4
games.
Yeah, we played same match of every game, yeah. And then same with mid, like he played Corki every game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like going into the 4th game, maybe you'd want to reconsider playing the champions that have just been like, whatever. Like, especially when you're down in a series, I feel like it's pretty reasonable to try and change something so you can get a little bit more value. Because I felt like their recipe, like, it didn't work in game 1 either. We just, yeah, well, let's not get into it.
How about that early game?
Where?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, yeah, early games, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even when early games were really tough and we were, like, literally hugging our Nexus every single game and not doing anything, it was still, like, really free win, 5v5. And I felt like, you know, like, this was a 4-0, basically, you know, like.
Yeah, I thought, from C9's perspective, I think if you guys were winning game 1,
yeah,
with a game like game 4, how do you guys won? They would change the draft. But they were like so close to win.
Makes sense.
With a 1 fight, game deciding fight.
Yeah.
Someone messed up like or something.
Yeah.
You guys outplayed or something. So like, if you change only this one, this would work.
That's
I think
true.
Makes sense.
they got trapped.
That's true.
I think so too.
Yeah.
When do you think, just because a lot of people on the outside, including myself as an analyst, like to harp on a lot of draft stuff, but to put a bow on the series, when do you think is a good idea to change? Because obviously when we see drafts change the most from an outside perspective, it's typically in game 3 when sometimes you're switching sides, or it's in game 4 when you have to come with an entirely different strategy, which C9 did not do. So like, what is the balance between confidence in your own execution, what you're comfortable with, versus changing it up?
I mean, from my perspective, it depends on your preparation. Yeah. Best of 5. Like, sometimes you're so well prepared that like you play game 1 comp and you see their priorities and you're like, oh, they don't know what to do if we play this either. So you play game 1, you win game 1, and then the bans, for example, let's say they banned Renekton, right? And I was playing, I don't know, Cassante, right? And it's like, oh, so they're not comfortable playing into Renekton because they're banning it, and they also just lost to Cassante. So you already have them like in a corner, you know? So I think that's like a really big part that like has to be acknowledged before you can go into best of 5 prep, because what champions you are comfortable giving your opponent and what champions you're not comfortable dealing with is like basically the name of the game. Yone for us was a ban in every game, right? So it's like, if they can force us to consider a priority that is above Yone, and we have to open Yone to do like to get a good draft for something that we're comfortable on the day, that's when it gets really hard. And I think that that's kind of what happened with them, where they really didn't want to give us Lilia under any circumstance, but they also didn't know what to do about Ivern. So they ended up in a really tough spot because, well, Ivern just showed up every game.
Yeah, I mean, like Bwipo said, there's the prep, which is important. And then I think the most important part, at least from like the few best of 5s that I've played, is just like adapting to the flow of the series. You just like, you will just like figure it out, like what picks are strong, if you need to change your priorities, if they didn't prio a champ as much as they thought you did, or if they prio a champ more than you thought. It's just like, you have to adapt.
Yeah, for me, it's like kind of feeling. You kind of know you played really well, but game is somehow hard. Then it's time to change.
Makes sense.
Even though you played better than your like expectation, but still hard. Something is going wrong. But like can be vice versa. You didn't play well, but game is easy. Our draft is good.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's true.
Carried by draft.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you absolutely destroyed 100 Thieves. What is your feeling coming out of that series?
Well, yesterday is kind of different. I don't think, especially I didn't play well. I think there's a few mistakes I made, decision making or something. And then draft, didn't think about too much, but also team by team. Whatever I do, didn't feel like we were gonna lose. We were gonna lose anyway. So just play whatever I wanted to do. It's also different. Like if team is like, the level is different, regardless of draft or the situation, you feel confident they're gonna do something wrong, and then you will come back.
Kind of like the Nautilus like swap situation too, where you're just adjusting in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if I have some advantage, I'm gonna use it. If I'm behind, I'm gonna adapt it.
Yeah. I like that. I thought it was really funny. I was like, wow, like what a child, you know? He goes top lane, tells his top laner to go figure it out. I respect that, you know? Like I think something watching that series, something that I really liked watching TL. I feel like the players are really good at adjusting the speed at which they play. Like when someone's speeding up the game, I feel like most of TL will meet that. And when the game slows down, they're very good at also slowing down. And I feel like it's not something necessarily that's like specifically communicated. I think you guys just have a really good vibe, like a very, very good feeling of how fast you want the game to be. And I think that comes from a great game understanding. And I felt like that series was like really obvious where you had the swap situation where Ornn was behind and you were ahead, and then you guys just waited until like an opportunity came up, and then like the game blows open. And that's what I'm saying is like you can definitely tell that the entire team changes the pace based on like the entire game duration. So you watch the first 5 minutes, like slow game, the next 5 minutes, really fast game, and then they adjust really well together.
What do you think of TL coming out of that series?
To be honest, we were scrimming, so I watched it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I never know how much you guys get to, and that's not like a slight. It's just literally I know you're prepping for today. So.
Yeah. I watched a bit of it, and then somehow like in the middle of scrims, I would just hear Bwipo say something about the game, and he's just like alt-tabbing, watching every now and then. But yeah, I mean, I think TL is the best team as of right now, and I guess that's like my thoughts about them is just they're a really strong team. They know how to play together really well. They know, like Bwipo said, the pace of the game, like the tempo, and how fast or slow they want to play the game. And I think it really feels like 5 people playing together. If something happens, then somehow all 5 players will be involved to make it a good situation. So yeah, I just think they're the best team right now.
What do you guys think of 100 Thieves coming out of this?
I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch.
I think they are doing much better with Tomo.
Yeah.
I think he's a very good addition, but I still think they really need their mid jungle to carry the game most of the time. So I don't think they're that strong.
I mean, I'm excited to watch the game. 100 Thieves dig. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. But honestly, I just want to highlight the fact that if you're a player coming in as a substitute halfway through the summer split or later even, it's like really, really powerful if you're on a team that has struggles to show up as a guy that has no baggage, right? So like looking at Meech, for example, like it's really easy to be like, oh, Tomo came in, like obviously he's much better than Meech, but that's not necessarily true because there's so much baggage from spring split, summer split where they were unsuccessful. And it's really easy to start losing things that make a great team, like trust, kindness. Like you stop being kind to your teammates, you know, because you've been with this guy for X amount of months. Yeah, exactly. The honeymoon phase is over, right? You don't have to be nice. Like, you don't feel like you have to be nice anymore. So you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, you're so bad. Like, how can we be doing this? And I think that's like a really big deal. Like Solo comes to mind, where he would always come in and like end of summer, and like, it's really underestimated how powerful it can be to be the guy that comes in and like cheers everybody up because like you're 100% happy. You just got a job. You were on the bench, and now you're like, fuck yeah, I'm playing LCS. You're so happy. You're spreading out positive energy, and I think that really shows. And I just wanted to highlight that Tomo's been doing a really good job because he's also got more reserves in the tank. He's got more patience. So when something goes wrong, he doesn't feel the need to I need to do something right now and throw the game. He can play the game out slowly. He can wait for a mistake for his opponents. And I think that's something that definitely it's an attribute to being a veteran, is being able to handle that kind of negative stress and then still play a really solid game of League of Legends where nothing crazy has to happen. Because once you're in the sauce, that's how in the sauce, you've lost a lot, you've struggled a lot, the drafts don't work, and the next patch it's another problem. That's what I define as the sauce.
Nice.
Once you're in the sauce, it's really easy to start believing that you need to make miracles to win. When in reality, every single great team in the world never makes miracles. They only pull out miracles when it's convenient, It's they shouldn't win that game, but they're too good, so they win together, But it's very rare that they feel the need to do that.
Yeah,
it just happens.
I think 100 Thieves in a spring split, even though they were doing well, I don't feel like they're just winning. They were winning with a miracle.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning with a miracle every game. But I think this 100 Thieves is they're more like team. So we could win against them because we were the better team compared to them. But I think they play like more team. So it's good to see.
With Bwipo talking about a player being able to come in, APA did that for you last year. Is that what happened on TL? Was he a breath of fresh air just in terms of he had literally no baggage with the team? So
I think last year we started really well and then we were collapsing. So it was I think it was kind of even situation. And then APA comes in. We were not decisive. We were what is working on our team? What is working on our team? We lost on this one. We lost on this one. We don't know what is good for our team. And APA comes in, and they asked him, "What are you good at it?" And then he said, "I'm good at jigs." Okay, we don't know what's gonna work. We are playing jigs. We're making a jigs comp. What can you guys play with a jigs or something? And so I think fresh member helps a lot, especially when team is not doing well. I think when team is not doing well, they lose a lot of trust. But new player can make it together easily.
We have to do kind of a slight post-mortem on Dig NRG. How much, because again, obviously all you guys are practicing, how much were you able to watch of that?
Most of it, I think. I mean, we were screaming each other, and we were we need to watch until the last team fight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I watched the last game.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't watch the entire game, but I watched the last game because our screen was not starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, we were stalling to watch the final team fight because it was personal for us, Jensen was playing, so.
Oh!
That's
wait,
we couldn't miss the elimination match, We had to know.
I was gonna say, what side were you rooting for on
I mean, honestly, both sides. I didn't mind who won or lost. It was just fun to watch, I just wanted to see I guess it was just when your stove is boiling over. You got a pot on the stove, and it's you go and turn it off. It's you're scared. That's the experience, but you just see what happened. You just leave it going, and it just your whole kitchen blows up. That's kind of how it felt, and I just wanted to see which players would handle the kitchen blowing up better. And I feel it really showed. I think Licorice and Sven did a really good job with their kitchen on fire. They didn't lose their minds. They just kept playing normal games, playing standard champion, nothing crazy. I think that's the only two players in that series that stood out to me is did a really good job when their kitchen was on fire. Everyone else had moments where it was this guy, he's lost it, And that's not to say that they're bad players. It's just under that amount of stress, it gets it ties into the fact of you have so much stress, so much baggage. You feel you need to pull off miracles to win, and you have Kennen flashing into a Bardal. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff where it's if you're calm and collected and you're just very level-headed, just you win the game on the spot there.
Yeah, that was a An unlucky moment. What I'm learning is that, does Bwipo cook for you? Because of
No, he does not cook. We do not live together.
Yeah,
Okay.
I only cook for my partner.
Okay.
I don't cook for anyone else. I'm pretty good. But
Okay.
just, yeah, I in general, all I cook for Massu are builds and champions. And
Nice.
so
There we
far,
go.
like, it
All
takes
right.
a while for me to convince him. But when, like, usually he agrees with me in the end. Like Static Shiv, RFC Jin, IMO, that shit's not it. So whenever he buys Collector and I press tab on stage and I see Collector, I'm like,
Nice.
I'm a very happy panda.
A post-mortem on, I guess, NRG. It's a weird end of an era for
Yep.
this roster generally. What are your thoughts on them and on Dig coming out of the series?
About energy.
Yeah.
So I think energy, like even last year, they were strong because they played like team. It was not they were strong because they were individual. It's like outperforming the C9 or the other teams. So I think when a team is very strong as a team, I think single member change can change the team chemistry. It's whether good or bad. And it's not like particularly like fault for anyone, but sometimes it is what it is. And I don't think they come back as strong as last year. And when they're not strong team and they're not strong individual, not a good team.
I think last year, I was still in academy, so like, I don't know much. But from what I watched, I still like Core said, they played very well as a team, and I think their mid jungle especially like played very well together. And then this year, they did it like very few times, and individually they're like good, but they're not like super above everyone else that they can just gap them and then win. So yeah, I think.
I would say, because they had like the 5 coaching staff thing, they had it again this year, right? Different coaches, but I'm pretty sure they have the same system.
shuffled it around, I think, a bit. Yeah.
They removed the coaching step.
They don't have 5 anymore? That could be possible, but I feel like when I watch their team, especially against G2 at Worlds, right? Because that's the games I watched like the most closely. I felt like they had a really good job description for the champions they picked, and I think that comes from that staff, except support, where they would just tell Ignar, like, do whatever you want. Like, just play your game, do whatever you want. Everyone else had like a very clear game plan of like, this is when you're weak, this is when you're strong, this is how you manage lane, this is what you do. Like, we picked you this champion to do this, except for Ignar. And I think that his kind of X factor is what went missing, because I think that he followed up really well when Contract did something crazy, or like good invade, good advantage. Like, I always thought of him as the type of support player that won't just let you wait for your flash to come back, you know? He's gonna really make sure that when someone loses flash somewhere, you know that guy has no flash. Whether his screen will be gray or theirs, not sure, but he will try. And I think that when that went missing with Huhi now, like Huhi playing, I think that they didn't really know how to adjust the formula to get the same kind of results, because I felt like they just had one less very active playmaker. And I'm not talking about teamfight playmaking, I'm talking about like just, you know, when the 15 minutes before teamfights, you know, like minute 10 to 25, like looking for side lane picks, looking for flanks, looking for things and creating things. I think that Ignar was very specialized in that, and I think that they weren't able to recreate kind of what he brought to that team, because I don't think any of their players did anything special, like Core mentioned. Like, they weren't special individually. They just had a really nice, good, clear job description, and they had a crazy guy making sure that their champions could scale well and still had some proactivity.
With Dig, looking forward, they face off against 100 Thieves. What is going to happen in this series?
No one knows. Like, honestly, I don't know. No one knows. Like, I mean, if I had to guess how many games, it's 5. Like, for sure, it's a 5-game series. Like, I would be shocked if it's not a 5-game series. That's my first take. I don't know what else is going to happen, but like, if I had to guess, had to put money on it, I'd say it's a 5-game series, because like, both teams got pushed far enough. Like, I know Dig played 100 Thieves, right? And they got shit on. Like, Dig got shit on.
They already played.
Yeah. It won't be like that again, because like 100 Thieves right now, they're in the sauce. Like, they are fully in the sauce, and Dignitas is fully in the sauce. So it's like, it's just purely on the day. Like, that's where I'm at.
I mean, it's like also another top 3 team. in the bottom league. So, like us, C9, Flyquest can win, can lose. They can win, they can lose.
I'm excited to watch though.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
all
say
for
because
it.
it's like it's weird because Jaeger coming out of a really close series against NRG, right? And 100 Thieves are coming out against getting absolutely destroyed by Core and TL. So, like, is there a chance that Dig end up ramping up? Because going into that series, if I'm looking at it, I'm like, I still think 100 Thieves, from my perspective, are playing a bit more cohesively.
Honestly, like I said, they're both very deep in the sauce. I will say, honestly, I did not acknowledge the fact that they got absolutely crushed. They got destroyed. 100 Thieves did. They got destroyed.
Yeah, it was.
It might affect the power rankings for sure, because like champions that like they should be playing and have every reason to play, and they're usually very confident on. Maybe after getting demolished, they're like, yeah, we shouldn't do this again. So that's something to consider. I'm not sure though. Like I'm really not sure because I feel at the end of the day, it really just depends on how well they take the TL loss. Because I think if they take it well, play their own game, they should be fine.
Yeah, if they take the TL loss well, like get their learnings from it and don't kind of like lose their mind because they got crushed so hard, then I think they're still the better team than Dig. But I think it can go either way.
Yeah, it's very hard to predict because I didn't watch the previous series, NRG and then Dignitas.
Yeah.
So
Don't tell my coaches. I think when I was watching, I didn't watch everything. But what I noticed when I was tabbing in and out is that Licorice was always really far ahead in lane swaps. Like the NRG lane swaps were so bad.
yeah,
So if 100 Thieves doesn't clean up their lane swaps, they're going home like fast. So I will say that like I immediately recognized like I could see Sniper being in the same spot as Dokla, like running around, hopefully not playing Poppy. Dear Lord, why did that guy lock in Poppy more than once? Once was already much, but like the second time, Jesus. Like no offense, but like I'm not even blaming him. I'm just like I know that the RNG was completely lost in the sauce because they decided that that was the champion they should be playing in a best of 5. I can relate to it. 2022 when I was in TL, like. Bro, I was there too, and my team was like Gangplank blind.
Just nodding.
Gangplank blind, and my team was like, yeah, we should still go Ornn. And I'm just like, all right, I guess. And that's how you know a team is completely lost in the sauce.
Do you agree?
It just doesn't make sense.
you know, that's why lose makes draft impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just in the sauce.
Well, we'll move on to something related to draft, which is coaching. TL won coaching staff of the split. I did want to ask all of you guys what you think makes a good League of Legends coach for you.
Actually, I'm gonna bring something from the Bwipo's world. I think like what NRG did well was like players know what their job is. I think it's kind of impossible that when draft is over, every player know their job until they play multiple times. They are doing same thing. So make sure they know what's the role in the draft, and then make sure players are understanding what our comp is, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then if some players are thinking about differently, make sure everyone is doing the same page, being on the same page. I think making everyone be on the same page is very important.
I agree. Number one trait. Most important.
Most important. Same
100%.
page.
Yeah.
I value it the most out of all coaches. It's something that actually we had in Fnatic as well when we had our most successful years. Know your role. Now, back then we were like a little bit more like extreme. It was like it was your responsibility as a player. We didn't expect the coach to teach you that.
Yeah, I mean it's contextual, right?
Yeah.
You know,
But-
because I think I think what Core said is broad enough that it's going to vary.
Yeah.
So like someone coaching, for example, like I'm bringing up Dignitas because it's 5 players, 4 of whom are veterans. Isles has also been playing for a long time. So they're all already going to be coming into it with very clear-cut ideas of like how they want to play. So someone can do what Core said with that team a very different way than you would do with like a younger group.
You say that, but I think a lot of the reason why veterans can not work well together is because
Oh, I agree with that.
the guy, like in their former teams, you had a different idea of what the champions or players would do. So I'll give you an example. Like, when I think of like Reckless in our team and then Reckless in G2, like so he swapped teams like after like 4 years of me playing with him, 3 years, and I felt like that was like a really obvious example where he was so used to me and Hilly playing a certain way with like the similar champions that when G2 drafted even the same champion, similar champion, same thing, it's like it looked completely different the way they played. And I think that's because like sometimes your past experience just speaks louder. It's like you're like so used to playing with someone for so long and that like the champions look different. Like I'll be honest with you, like there are certain champions that do different things in different players' hands. You watch Caps play Azir, like or you watch I don't know Rookie play Syndra, and it's like, is this the same champion? Like same. It's the same in every single team. I think it's important to acknowledge that like it's still really important that you don't carry that with you. And I think actually that's why Dig struggled a lot, because I think that from their perspective, at least from my perspective, especially in their mid jungle, it was really unclear who should put their best foot forward first. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're so dysfunctional as a team.
What do you think, Massu? Oh, so you have like a limited experience compared to these two guys.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I've only had like 2 coaches, but yeah, I think the most important thing is a coach needs to put like all 5 of his players on the same page and kind of develop like an identity almost that the players can fall back to. When maybe like the team is doing bad or they're having a slump, if the coach already built like an identity for them to fall back to, they're going to have a better baseline. And yeah, I think a coach is really just like an important facilitator. He can get everyone on the same page and he can see his players' strengths and weaknesses and he can use them to his advantage. I think that's what a good coach can do.
Shout out to Mitty. I think he made a huge difference.
Nice.
Coming in, seeing the splits. I mean, I know C9 fans aren't going to like hearing this, but he is phenomenal at his job. I worked with him in 2020, and he was our head coach back then. His first year coaching, I think, as like a head coach. It was a tough year for him. It was a tough year for everyone in that team. But I just want to say that like I've wanted to work with him every single year since that year, and I was extremely happy when he decided to join us because this guy knows what he's talking about. Like he really has gone above and beyond, especially with Alan, but also with Massu, in making sure that like they're at top of their game. And
Nice.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to say that because he didn't deserve the flack he got on the way out of C9, in my opinion, of course.
Nice.
Again, I like him a lot, so I'm biased.
No, that's good. I mean, we're all biased. We should just all admit it. Well, thanks to you and thanks to your coaches. Everyone here at this table is going Worlds. Congratulations.
Europe.
But just generally on the table, how does it feel? You're all qualified.
So every world's deciding moment was very important and then was like extremely happy. But this time was kind of easy. So like less happier.
Yeah.
And then like not only like the game was easy, like kind of like during the regular play, like the league is like kind of split it by level. So still happy. Happy.
My favorite part from your team is that Umti did not know he was qualified.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
But yeah, Massu, your first World Championship. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Sorry, the international.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy. I think international tournaments are like the thing I aim for the most. It's just really fun to play against the best players in the world. And I feel like it helps me learn a lot faster. So, yeah.
Is there any one player you want to face off against?
I mean, what I've been watching the most is like Pays and Elk, but any of them, honestly. I would be happy to go against any of them.
If I had to
Over
guess,
for
I
you.
would say Elk for him because he always talks about him. So
Yeah.
DLG is good.
for me, I don't know. I mean, it's a big deal. I agree that it was like easier than expected. I just played my game, and I felt like angles to win came by themselves. I didn't have to sweat for it. That's not unusual, I guess, for me. But like if I think back to the years before, I had some clinchers, but for the most part, it was like we were a good team, and it was somewhat expected for us to go to Worlds. That said, I mean, Worlds for me is like it's the biggest deal, you know. It's why I play competitively. When I took a year off, like I realized like I want to go back to being a pro because I want to play Worlds. That's always been the reason. I want to perform really well internationally, and to be careful because I turn into a very different player in terms of demeanor when I go internationally. Like I'm very harsh on everyone else, and I'm very harsh on myself. First and foremost, I get really harsh on myself, and then I start becoming like very critical of everyone else on my team. And that's a formula that worked really well for us in Fnatic. I think at MSI it didn't really work, so I'm going to have to reevaluate kind of how I want to approach that. Because I know that that's tough for other people, but I'm obviously super excited to play at Worlds. Like I said, this is what I live for, really. Like that's what I realized when I didn't go to Worlds. It's like there's something missing in my life, you know. I didn't get to play Worlds, and I'm really, really happy that I got to qualify. I just want to make the most out of it, because it's like there's very few games of League you get to play that like you can make a very big influence or difference in the way people perceive the game. And I feel like every single Worlds I've played, there's been like that one moment where people are like, wait a sec, this guy's cooking. And I want to work really hard to make sure that I don't lose that streak, because I've cooked every Worlds, and I want to bring that back. For me personally, it's going to be in Berlin. It's going to be the first time I play on the LEC stage.
That's what I was
since
going to ask. I saw you tweeting you're
Yeah.
returning to the LEC stage.
Yeah, I've really actually coming back to pro play. I've really drawn from my past experience in the LEC and my teammates. It's going to be it's going to be really weird for me to play my first games there without Hilly, because it'll be the first time I ever walk on that Berlin stage without him there. So.
Are you going to catch up while you're there?
I hope so. I hope he's going to be in Berlin. I mean,
Nice.
Either way, I'm after Worlds, I'm happy to go visit him or whatever, because I've realized that what we shared together was more than what two normal players would ever share together. I think that I trusted him more than anything. You know, I really trusted him through and through. Even when he didn't show up or I didn't show up, I knew he was there, you know? And I think that that's something that you don't have often in teams. You know, a lot of times performance is what builds trust. So when you stop performing, you lose that trust. With him, that was never the case. Like I could run it down for a month straight, and I knew he would be there the very next day. And it's been tough for me to like come to terms that I don't have that anymore. But I'm trying to build it with my team right now, and I'm really hoping that I can have that kind of relationship with my bot lane, with my jungler, with my mid laner. But I understand that it's really tough and it takes so much work, you know, from both ends. So that's why it's like pretty sentimental actually today for me. Like
No, that's great.
I'm
happy for you.
I'm happy too, but at the same time, it's like I'm also a little sad, you know, because he's not there. But it's a big step for me actually. Like for me personally, it's a huge step as a player.
Is there anyone you're looking forward to facing?
Fnatic, of course, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know, we have history, you know. Like I'd love to play Fnatic and get that grudge match out of the way.
What about you, Core? Anyone you're looking forward to seeing or playing?
I want to win, so I will also choose the Fnatic.
You guys have Fnatic on farm this season. It's crazy. They can't win, I think.
So,
I don't know why exactly, but you guys just can't lose.
Yeah, I mean, we only played the 2 cities, so
Two best of fives, though.
third time can be different. Actually, I actually want to meet a T1. So, on the other hand, like we lost against T1 last Worlds, this MSI, EWC. I think every time, whenever we play versus T1, I think it's getting closer.
I agree.
So I think if we win T1 in this world, it's good story, no?
It would be a fantastic
That would be a great story.
NA, NA baby, let's go.
It took 1 year.
We'll end with your match against each other. How's that going to go? What do you think? Obviously, you're not going to say much to each other. I already know that.
Yeah.
Well, I can say this much. I think after today,
Nice.
I would say TL is the only not sandbag team. What I mean by a sandbag team is when you hit the sandbag, it doesn't hit back. I know that when TL is going to receive hits from us, they will come back swinging. I felt C9 was that kind of team. After the day series, sucker punches, you know, at best, jabs and sucker punches. There was no weight behind those whatsoever. I felt like anytime they did something, I was like, wait, what? That's it? You know, like there's nothing there, nothing of substance really. I feel like playing against TL, it really feels that way. You make a mistake, it's like, fuck. You know, like you feel like you made a mistake. When they made a good play, you're like, fuck. They made a good play. That's the only team in the LCS that is currently at that status for me. C9 lost their rights, unfortunately, today. So I'm excited for that because honestly, that's the best kind of series, you know. I think I talk back about my career when I think back of G2 Fnatic, that was every single game. Every single game, well, sometimes we were kind of lightweights, but for the most part, we were both heavyweights, and that's what I'm excited for. That's why I think our game will be the heavyweight match, you know. There will be fists flying left and right. We will be trying our damnedest to win that game, and that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, even from the like spring split, like when we play versus each other, every minute is a kill.
Exactly.
Someone is dying every single moment.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
like I said today, like Flyquest always wanna move the game forward. No matter what situation, they wanna make a game forward. And then if enemy team doesn't punish Flyquest using the time, then they're gonna be the only one making game forward. So it's unfair. So I think it's gonna be a fun game. And then hopefully we can make a similar game as a spring playoffs game. Not the final, the playoffs game. It was
Yeah, 3-2, yeah, true.
That was a banger.
That was a banger game.
I hope so too, and I hope we win again. It wasn't fun losing.
Yeah.
But it's exciting, you know, for me, you know, speaking on my top lane matchup especially, I've always been kind of the runner-up, you know, in my whole career. I've been the runner-up, and I've kind of come to terms with that, you know, and I'm happy, honestly. I get to be the runner-up again, you know, like, Impact's the #1, he's probably got an MVP. That's a great bullseye right on his forehead. I'm aiming for it, and we'll see, you know, because I feel like he's a really good benchmark for what is greatness.
Yeah.
I think that you have the best players in the region, like not the best necessarily, but you have good players in the region, and then you have great players in the region. And I feel like Impact's like right there up with the great players in the region. So if you can go above him, if you can beat him in a best of 5 and like outperform him in a best of 5, that's a great benchmark for fantastic international success. And that's why for me, I'm always very happy to be able to play against him because it really sets the standard of where I'm at in terms of my own performance. And I have nothing. There's nothing left to be desired as a competitor, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Massu? What about going up against TL?
It's always fun.
Yon and Core?
It's always fun. I think Yon and Core pressure the hardest out of the bot lanes in lane. And out of lane, they just, I think, move around the map the best. So yeah, I hope it's like a fun game. I hope there's going to be a lot of kills, but we'll see.
Yeah, just fight.
Yeah,
I have 2 bot laners here. I need to have this conversation because everyone was laughing at me when I said that Berserker was not him anymore in spring. This conversation has completely died, and it's not because I was wrong. I need to know after today's series, is he him? Is he close to being him? Or is he where I'm at? You know, what I think of him.
I don't think it's that far. I still think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I still think he's a very good player.
So
I just think I don't know.
Because I'm just saying, like, you're 6-1 against him in best of 5s this year. Just saying.
Oh.
I
You
guess
have him
so.
on farm, you know? So if he's that good still, then, like, it's Team Gap. But I don't think it is, you know? Like, I don't think he's him because I have Massu on my team.
So I think your standard for him is like dominant level of like.
I mean, just like never misplay, you know? Like sometimes bad decision is fine, but like mechanics never misplay. Like for me, that's like when I think of AD carry as him, it's like this guy, no matter what situation he play, never int, never make mistake individually, always deal damage, like always. If he doesn't carry, it's like maybe his team's too bad, but like he will never be the reason his team loses fight. That's for me like the definition of him. He was him in 2022. He was him. 2023, he looked like him.
Okay.
You didn't think so?
Wait, is Yon now him? Or is it Massu?
I think if your definition of him is like standard is very high, it's very
true.
hard to
It's very high.
achieve
It's very high.
in the NA. I think maybe because the other people are not fight him strong enough. So like that's how hard like becoming him. I think Berserker is actually doing a good job. I don't like even today's series. I don't think he was deciding factor that they lost the game in most cases. Just not much thing to do most case. So
Yeah, I'm fine.
I don't think he didn't change the game. Like losing games to winning, but yeah, it's very hard to do.
I agree. I just think that he was doing that. I mean, when everyone was talking about him, that was kind of what he was, right? I just wanted to bring it up because for me it's really interesting because like I noticed it already like in spring.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's extremely hard to do, and my standard is very high. You know.
Actually, if there is a Yumi,
Yumi? Oh yeah.
think so?
Then
if there's a Yumi,
yeah,
can
maybe
be different.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Then maybe he carries.
Okay.
I think
Tom
Yumi
and
with
Jerry.
the Berserker can be him.
See, now I don't have to take it into account then. They tried Senna. He was not him with Senna.
Yumi's coming back.
Yeah, Yumi's back.
Please no. For the last part, so we have 100 dig, winner faces C9, and then the loser of your game faces that. I want to know who's winning 100 dig, and then who's winning C9 versus that.
The winner of that.
Yeah.
Is that happening before our match? Those two best of fives?
It is going to be Friday. I think it's split. So it's basically like Friday is going to be 100 dig. Then Saturday is going to be you guys to give them a day off. Yeah. And then Sunday is going to be C9 versus the winner of 100 dig. So they get a day.
Okay, it'll be interesting. I mean, my prediction for 100 Thieves dig, I mean, like I said, I think it'd be 3-2 either way. I'd give it to 100 Thieves if they can clean up their lane swaps, but I can definitely see them getting absolutely ran if, like, Sniper's down 2 levels from a lane swap in every other game. Like, they'll go down 3-1, maybe even 3-0. It really depends how well they take the TL loss. And then the winner, I mean, it's
C9 versus 100.
It has to be a 3-0. Like, C9's still, like, just way better individually and across the map. I would be shocked if it wasn't, but I don't see C9 not beating both of them.
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves, probably like 3-1 or something. And then either team C9, probably 3-0.
If you guys choose 100 tips, I'm gonna go on the Dignitas. The theory behind this, like, they start talking about the serious talk.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, someone is crying. Then try to talk like inside what they are thinking, and then start randomly trusting each other. And then they're gonna win against 100 tips 3-1. And then they're gonna lose to the C9 3-1.
Okay.
All right.
It'll be interesting to see, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's actually a really exciting match.
Yeah. I think Dig 100 is like super interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'll be really
Very
curious
close.
to see who comes out of that. We're almost to time. Bwipo, I have to ask, what is your little shark? It's adorable.
You want to read it?
Emotional support shark. Always here to remind you you're fantastic. That's cute.
Wow.
Yeah, my girlfriend gave it to me 2 days ago, and I already talked about this on air with like having anxiety and stuff on stage, and I brought my emotional support shark with me, and he actually reminded me that picking Renekton every game is okay. I've always been known for having so many signature picks, and that's because I was always very anxious that my signature picks weren't good enough. So I would play my signature pick, and then if I would lose in a series, I would stop playing the signature pick, and I would play a different signature pick, because that was comfortable for me. Today was a pretty big deal for me, not only because we made Worlds, but because I locked in Renekton 4 games with no mercy.
Nice.
I just told myself, it's good enough. I trust myself that, you know, I'm a big, bad, mean crocodile. And it looks pretty strong when I play it, so I'll just keep playing him until the end. And I know that a lot of series in the past, I would come in game 1 with like a really strong opinion of a champion, and I would play it, and then I'd be really strong, and I'd lose, and I'd be like, no, I need to change pick, you know, like give me something else, you know. And you know, spring finals against TL, this happened, and you know, it just goes to show that I have a lot more room for growth, and that's why for me today was a shark diff.
Nice.
My shark had my back.
That's awesome.
So 1v2. Sound fair.
Yeah,
1v2.
He's really cute too.
he didn't have a chance. Thank you so much, guys. This is a great
Thank you.
episode. Thank you for taking the time to join me. Congrats on making the World Championship
Thank
to
you.
all of you. All the best in facing off against each other this coming week. And a reminder that Pros is now available on Spotify and other podcast platforms. If you can't catch it on YouTube, you can catch it on one of those. Once again, thanks to these guys. Thank you to you for watching or listening. Have a good one.
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Bye.